Hi everyone. In the last lesson I showed you how to find your heart rate. In an earlier lesson I showed you how you can change an exercise's intensity to get the results you want. Today I'm going to bring these two concepts together. We're going to learn about the target heart rate zone. We know that how hard your heart is working can be a great indicator of an aerobic exercise's intensity. But what heart rate should you be aiming for when you do aerobic exercise? Well, it's different for everyone. It depends on your age and how strong your cardiovascular system is to start with. As you age, there's a theoretical maximum to how many times your heart can beat in a minute. To actually test it, we'd have to have an axe-wielding maniac chase you down to see what your actual limit is. Since it's not very practical or ethical, we'll use this simple equation. For males, maximum heart rate is 220 minus your age. For females, and I've learned that they've changed the formula, or at least want to change the formula to reflect a difference between males and females, the maximum heart rate is 206 minus 88% of your age. Yes, we're going to get a little mathy here, but trust me, don't worry about it. Just follow along. I'm 50 years old, so my theoretical maximum heart rate is 170 beats per minute. I do exercise though, so my resting heart rate is around 65, which is on the lower side of normal. This means that if I really have to push myself aerobically from rest, my heart can handle an extra 100 beats per minute at full intensity. However, that's crazy. Remember, full intensity is me running for my life from a maniac. I can't keep that up for too long. No one can give 100% forever. In fact, if I trained anywhere near 100% regularly, it would eventually damage my body. On the other end of the spectrum, since I do exercise, going for a leisurely walk won't be enough to raise my heart rate enough to improve my cardiovascular system. It won't do much for any athlete, well, unless they're really old. So, exercising at too low of an intensity does very little for your cardio, and doing too much is risky. The trick is to find the amount in between. This is the target heart rate zone. It consists of a lower number and a higher number. For example, my target heart rate zone is currently 128 to 144. How do I know that? Well, there's something called the Carvonin method that lets you calculate your target heart rate zone. Here's how it's done. Just try to follow along and get an idea of what's involved. To use this method, you need to know your maximum heart rate, abbreviated as MHR. You also need to know your resting heart rate, which is represented as RHR. That's just your pulse. It also needs two percentage numbers to represent the low number and the higher number of the zone that we're looking for. So we'll use 60% and 75%. So here's the equations for the lower target heart rate zone and the higher target heart rate zone. And here it is with my info. That means that for me to improve my cardiovascular endurance, I need to work hard enough to make my pulse reach at least 128, but no more than 144. A little more won't kill me, but this is what we're aiming for. Note that the percentages for the lower and higher targets can change based on your goals and needs. If you are elderly or have heart disease or some other chronic condition, the lower and higher percentages will be much lower. If you are a serious athlete, they can be much higher. The above numbers are a good starting point for average teens and adults in good health. You can do the math yourself if you want, and you really should. But to make life easier, I included a link to an online target heart rate zone calculator in the video description. Scroll down the page when you get there until you see where you can enter your information, and then click Calculate Heart Rate. Give it a try with your own information. While you're there, play around with the numbers to see how the target heart rate zone changes depending on your age, your resting heart rate, and the percentage values that you choose. Now that that's done, I'll tell you another way to estimate how intense your aerobic exercise routine is. It's called the talk test. I knew a simpler version of it in college, but I found a really clear description of it on cardiosmart.org. Here's how it works. talk while you're exercising. If you can sing, it's too easy. If you can talk but not sing, your intensity level is moderate. If you can only say a few words at a time, it's vigorous. And if you can't say anything at all, it's probably too much. After some time, you'll be able to know the intensity just by how it feels. So, why didn't I bother to go through all of that math before? Well, the math backs up the concept. By now, you should know that your heart has a maximum heart rate. You should also understand that if you're healthy and your resting heart rate is low, your heart can do a lot more work if it needs to. You should also know that if aerobic intensity is too low, it does nothing to improve your cardiovascular health. If it's too high, it's not sustainable, and it could cause harm in the long run. To sum up, if you want to improve your heart and lungs, you want your pulse to be in the middle of the target heart rate zone. Okay, you've got some tools to play with. You hear that? Thought I heard a dog barking. All right, here we go. Okay, you've got some there it goes again. Quiet dog. All right. I'm going to try to finish this. Okay, you've got some tools to play with now. You can calculate your target heart rate zone, and you know how to take your pulse quickly. The next time you do aerobic exercise, take your pulse to see if your intensity is in the zone. Also, try the talk test. See if it works. That's all for now. See ya.